All right, we are live here. Hello and welcome to my First Million Live, a podcast channel where I talk to prominent entrepreneurs from all over the world and learn from them their success secrets. And today I'm thrilled to have with me someone very inspirational. So the inspirational side of that was revealed this morning where I accidentally bumped into his personal life story. Of course, I knew about his massive accomplishments, but I did not know the context of how he built what he built in his very short career. So I'll set the context. Let me give a brief overview of him, and then I will set the context there. So Shishir Gupta, he is the CEO of StartupLanes. It's an ecosystem for startups, having 7,600 plus accelerated startups based in 56 cities across 15 countries. And I was just talking to Shishir. He massively travels, but COVID has hit him. So all these activities are now online. So StartupLanes specialize in raising funds from angel investors and VCs. And I bumped onto him accidentally on Facebook a few weeks ago when I found more about him. I was blown away by his accomplishments. Shishir founded his first startup in 2001 and has over 20 years of startup experience and 2 years of family-run business. He's the author of Startup Easy, a step-by-step guide for startup entrepreneurs. He was featured on CNBC Young Turks, Startup Weekend, Startup Grind. He's rated among top 10 in world for venture capital consulting by Clarity. He has helped more than 1,000 startups across the globe. He has helped many startups in creating great business models, building technology, fundraising, marketing strategy, and expansion. He has a massive following on LinkedIn with little less than 100K followers. And what I'm interested to learn from Shishir today are two things. One is understanding the startup ecosystem overall, India and abroad, the opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs. I'm interested more at how many startups sustain in a given geography, the challenges of first-time entrepreneurs face, and how is StartupLane solving this. This is the first part of it. The second part of it is where we turn the tables and learn from the angel investors' point of view on how they can take a pie from this entrepreneurial opportunity and what are the risks and opportunities here. So let's welcome Shishir. Hi Shishir, welcome to my First Million Live podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Ravi. I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing great, Shishir. So Shishir, I came across this very poignant article that you wrote a year ago on LinkedIn, became hugely viral and popular. I want to set the context by reading that out for the sake of our audience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. Let's not share. I'll just read it out. So you opened up about your own journey, which many people did not know. And let me read it verbatim. So this is what Shishir wrote. My dad left for heavenly abode when I was in class 10th, just before the final exams. I got 33 marks in maths. My dream of becoming an engineer was shattered. My relatives took the business empire that my dad built. I was left with a mother and a 9 years younger brother to take care of. They took away the 50K that I saved from my pocket money. I worked in the same factory where I was the owner. My relative took over the entire business and treated me like a laborer. He humiliated me every day, even asked me to commit suicide. But I never gave up. Built my career myself by working and studying. I did masters in business and bachelors in law with A grade. Started business and accumulated wealth through hard work. I lost all my life savings in apartments that I bought from Amrapali, NRI Global Builders. My mom suffered from stage 4 cancer. My co-founder cheated me, lost huge money in shares. One more time, I was left with nothing but debt. But I never gave up. I rebuilt myself again. परेशानी भी अब परेशान कर के खुद परेशान हो गई है. Now I'm the founder of StartupLanes group of companies. I help everybody invest in startups, do charity. My company offers free services to the needy. We raise funds, mentor job seekers to job creators. So this is the context, because without this context, it's not fair to know where one has reached. So Please tell me that what you have gone through and what you eventually achieved. What was the major lesson that you would want to draw out of your life, that others might take inspiration from?
See, when you are born in a rich family, you least care about others. This is what I felt when I was young. While growing up, I did not had any kind of economical financial problems. But I used to travel places with my dad, and there was some place nearby to our factory where I saw people having one single roti with onion on it, right? Or maybe sometimes I saw them having roti with just a chili, right? So I never thought very deeply about it, but when I went through the same kind of issues in my life after my dad was over, everything was lost, and I was forced to work in the same factory which I owned as a laborer, like I mentioned, right? So that time I started thinking about people. I started touching life and understanding life, how important everything is, what is the importance of every penny, right? And that made me so close to people who are in problems. And that day I decided, whenever God give me any level, if I will be able to help them, I will definitely help everybody. And all my life I grew up thinking about what can I do for such people, right? It took me a hell lot of time understanding how to build the wealth again, because from scratch to a level, it's very, very difficult, I'll tell you, and I am not saying this. It is not possible to amass wealth. It is not possible to become rich until and unless you take away the share of poor, right? So I was in a jiffy what to do. I want to become wealthy to help them, but I cannot take away their share, right? I have to do something for the society and then get. So that was the case. I was thinking about people, and I tried to do lot of things. I started my first startup in 2001, and that failed badly. That failed very, very badly, because it was a very small startup called Salah for You. I wanted to have every service online, doctors, lawyers online, but that time the market was not ready in India. 2001, right? That was the time when I used to travel. I have to go to for getting the domain registered, you can imagine. I traveled for 2 hours in a bus, public, government bus, and I went to the place. I do not remember much. It was a factory kind of setup wherein they had this office, Polar Software. They had their office, and I went there. They kept me waiting for almost half an hour to give me a form. I filled up a physical form, paid them in cash, and that is how I grabbed my first domain name. So those days, those old good days, when 1996 internet was 200 rupees per hour in Delhi, right? So I started my journey like that, and I used to go with a floppy disk in the cyber cafe. I used to stay in Delhi, and I used to go there with a 3.5-inch floppy disk, and while I go, I used to download a lot of data so that I can read out offline. So that is that kind of humble life I had, and I was building my career bit by bit, and I was facing lot of difficulties, but I was trying again and again. So all that gave me a very strong vision to do something for the people of my country, and not just for the country, for everywhere in the world, wherein I can do something. And I have got this conclusion that only thing possible is to create jobs. For becoming a job creator, you need to do something for entrepreneurs, and that is how the idea of StartupLanes came into my mind. It took me.
So before we move to StartupLanes, I'm still very, very curious about a young boy who lost his father. In the absence of your father, who was your mentor? Who was guiding you? Who was directing you? Was it all experimental of your own, or did you have a father figure like your father somebody mentoring you?
Actually, when you are in a situation like mine, all your relative stays away from you, and the reason is very simple. They think you might ask for some help, you might ask, especially the financial help, or you might ask for a job, or you might ask for some kind of references, right? So generally people avoid you, and unfortunately I had no other person except my mother, and she was the person who supported me in everything. Whatever saving she had, she gave me. And I'll give you an example. It was into INR 80,000. That is all we had, and I wanted to do stock market trading, and the only reason was I wanted to become rich. So I thought probably this will change my life, and I opened up a ICICI account for trading. And on the very first day of trading, I was doing intraday trading of more than 7 lakhs, or no, 9 lakhs to be very precise. I bought ICICI Bank share the same day, and it was the time I lost almost 60,000 out of that 80,000, almost. So you can imagine, I was doing in the cyber cafe and taking long breaths. I shut down the internet, shut down the computer, restarted 5 times, went out, came back, and this is all happening in a span of 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, right? And finally then electricity went off. So I was like, praying to God that I don't know what will happen. And actually the same thing happened. When you are young, when you want to get more money, and when you try and take more risk, this actually happens. You lose out. And I lost. So I was left out with 20,000, and I told my mom that this is what happened. And the first thing she said is, don't worry. Don't worry.
And you only had 80,000. You only had 80,000 at home.
Yeah. So she said, don't worry. If this is experience, if you get the experience, you will definitely be able to gain whatever you have lost. I am with you. And don't worry, this is my confidence is with you. You will do well one day. And if you lose heart this time, then this entire exercise of this entire practice and your risk will be gone, right? So don't lose out. Think that this is an experiment that you did. Experiments are meant to be failed. So that was my first lesson. I got that, if she must have stopped me, or she must have shouted, or said anything which is emotional or something, I must have not got what I wanted to achieve. So I got this confidence that I can take more risk. My mother had no problem, and she had this money. She gave me, and I promised myself that I will get this money back, and not by doing any windfall gains. I will get this money back by doing smaller things, right? So I started day contracting. I used to get everyday contracts. I became a paint contractor because that was my family business. So I had an idea. I used to get 2,000 rupees, 2,500 rupees every day for completing. And I don't know whether you know about it. There's a brand called White Tiger. So White Tiger came to India, and I got their showrooms painted. Almost 15 showrooms were done by me through my contracts. Those days when I was very young. So those were my initial days of struggle, and I somehow if you are not getting good marks, what's next, right? Who will take you? If you don't get IITs, what would happen to you, right? So you eventually end up getting into sales job, smaller jobs, underemployment, right? So that is the mindset which has to be changed in this country. Especially the parents, they should know that if job is not the end, right? Job is one way of making a living. Entrepreneurship is another way, right? So why don't we try? And I always tell this to everybody: try entrepreneurship at least once. What would happen? Nothing. If you fail, you can go back, right? Nobody will say, oh, you are coming back from entrepreneurship, you are not eligible for job. You become in fact you become more eligible, right? Because so failure is not bad, and that is what was the basic aim of StartupLanes to start. I wanted to tell this to everybody: keep experimenting, start, take risks, and this is the time. You should not keep waiting, because I have seen a lot of people waiting for the opportunity, and that opportunity never comes back. So that is how we started StartupLanes.
So you call yourself you call yourself the largest freemium model startup accelerator. What does freemium model mean?
Freemium model means you offer everything for free. That means it's a platform, it's an ecosystem. Imagine if you talk about the best colleges like IIM, what is there? If the same professor teaches you outside IIM, the value might not be the same, the outcome might not be the same, because IIM is an environment, right? So it's an ecosystem, right? Now environment will be a smaller word, it's a complete ecosystem. Right. So we created the ecosystem wherein people can join free. If I keep an entry fee, then I would possibly reduce the chances of people joining, and we want more number of people to join this. So we created a free platform wherein anybody can come and join for free. Right. And if you want some premium services, like if you want sales leads, which is everybody's need, right? If you want sales leads, then you become a premium member, just paying a very nominal fee. Right. So this fee is 12,500, which is almost just 1,000 rupees a month. Right. And this gives you a host of benefits, lot of benefits. So that is why it is called freemium. Right. Other accelerators work in a way wherein a startup is there, which has some kind of traction. They support that startup in scaling up. Right. We created a model which is similar. We support them in scaling up, but we offered a freemium model. We don't take their equity. Accelerators generally take the equity. There are some government-run accelerators who don't take anything, right? They just support you. That's it. Right. But we are not government-supported or government-run. So still, we don't take any equity in any of the startups. The equity is the right of the founders. We don't want that. We just want them to grow automatically. Just like when the student get good marks, who is more proud? Your teachers, your parents, right, who supported you. So while you perform good as an entrepreneur, which is a part of this country, I don't care whether it is StartupLanes or not. If you are performing good and this happens, if the country grows ahead, then we are very, very happy as an ecosystem. And that is how we became the largest ecosystem. We are supported by a lot of people, lot of regional directors we have all across the world. They supported us in this journey. And they supported us in creating this platform physically as well as in the strategy.
Right. But how do you sustain then if you're not taking equity?
So we don't sustain ourselves through direct equity, but we have other revenue models. We have disrupted lot of revenue streams. We created StartupLanes as a group of companies which has 10 important departments and functioning as companies. And so these are, just if you create a company, you will require CA services. You will require to register your company. Right. We offer those services through our gold members. So we make a small bit of money there, and still we are cheaper than other options, right? So like I'll tell you smaller things. In everybody who is running a business requires a digital certificate now. It is in India there is a norm of class 3 digital certificate, which is the latest standard. Right. This, if you get it from a chartered accountant, it will cost you 1500 to 2000 rupees.
Right.
We are offering this for 399 rupees, which is not at all possible from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
If you, no other source will give you this kind of price. So what are we doing? We are generating volumes. We are utilizing our internal funding for supporting entrepreneurs in these smaller tasks, right? Registering a company, providing the digital signatures, then marketing.
Right.
So we have a service which is very different, I'll tell you. A lot of small firms, like somebody who's running a small travel business, may not be having his full-fledged Facebook page for business. Personal might be having, but not the Facebook page for business. He might not be having a LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is a holy cow for a lot of people like that. Right? They don't have Twitter and Instagram. They don't even know about it.
Right.
So we offer a service wherein we say we will charge you a fixed monthly fee, very nominal fee, 3,000 rupees, and we will manage your social media. Right? This is cheaper than hiring one person.
Right.
Far cheaper, right? If you hire one person, you have to pay 15,000, 20,000 salary. Right? But here we are offering this with graphic design, with everything included, all the posts included, 3,000 rupees. Right? So that is how, because we are doing it in volumes, because we do a billing of more than 700 to 750 invoices per month. So that gives us a bigger scope. And because of the volumes, we are keeping up our expenses. And obviously we are funded, so we are utilizing our funding for disrupting as well as for providing more value. We don't spend any money in advertisements. Till date, we have not spent.
Got it. And you also have a buyer-seller match. What does it mean?
Okay. So this is based on the concept that we are smaller sellers but bigger consumers. From top to bottom, from your hair oil to your footwear, you are a consumer. Right? So one organization that has 10% or 20% profit margin and is having a revenue of 1 crore means is earning profits of 20 lakhs out of this 1 crore. 80 lakh they are spending.
Right.
Where does this spending goes? Right. So this goes to different buyers, different suppliers called vendors.
Right.
Now we created a system. Why don't you buy from each other? You buy from me, I will buy from you, and I will give you discount, you give me discount. So the entire money is within the ecosystem. Right? So middlemen are avoided. We match the buyers with sellers, and we incentivize you. Nowhere in the world, nobody gives you incentive for giving your own business requirement. I'll tell you how. Suppose you come to me and say, Shishir, I need to buy a car, or I need a lawyer, or I need to register a company, or I need an app. Okay, I quote you 5 lakh rupees. Is there anybody in this country or anywhere in the world who will say, okay, I will give you some 50,000 or 40,000 rupees benefit for your own requirement? You buy from anywhere, but I will give you, because you are buying through my ecosystem, I will give you some money. We become your seller and buyer both. You will be amazed to understand.
Give me an example. Give me an example with two business persons, how they are exchanging their buying and selling.
Suppose a buyer is there from London, and that buyer wants to buy or have services of app development from New Delhi.
Right.
Now they necessarily have to go through the services like freelancer or Upwork and all.
Yes.
But there they end up getting freelancer individuals. Right. It's not easy to get a company, proper organization that can do a bigger work.
Right.
The ticket size is low.
This is a major challenge, especially first-time entrepreneurs, especially NRIs who might be thinking of a new startup or creating an MVP just to test the market. They do not know where to go. They hire freelancers to build, and they pay like 35, 50K for MVP. Yeah.
Now, hosting is a very big problem here.
Yes.
So, and they charge you advance.
Right.
They tell you, if you don't give me advance, I will not work. And the other way also. After sometimes it has happened, most of the time, after you have worked, the buyer do not pay you. Right? After doing the experiment, they don't pay. So now what happens is, when it is happened, suppose SL London, StartupLanes London is in there, our regional director is there, Royston is our regional director in London. So he is the person who's building the trust. Right. He tells, okay, don't worry, I'm here, right? Give your work, and we will not keep a huge cut. We will process this business and give it to somewhere in India, wherein our regional director Delhi, Monica, is there. She is physically present. Okay. Right. So the business is given to somebody in Delhi. Billing is done through StartupLanes. We do all the contracts. We are an organized entity. We have the exports license. Right. So we will bill to the London guy, right, and the vendor will bill to us. Right. We keep a small markup fee, very small. I cannot announce right now, but it is a very small one. Yes. For this entire, it's called managed escrow as a service. Okay. And we match this within the ecosystem. StartupLanes London chapter to StartupLanes Delhi chapter. We match this inside StartupLanes. You never have to go out. You don't have to go out and find out the buyers. You don't have to go to Just Dial. You don't have to try anybody who's unknown to you. Everything is there within the ecosystem, right? So that is how
you have built yes, this massive ecosystem for offering all kinds of services.
Yes, we have everything you can imagine on planet Earth. We can provide you everything because we are enabled by 7,700 direct startups which are part of us in our acceleration, plus 50 lakh of such small registered organizations which are subscribed to us. We have the reach extended. So it's for us, it is a matter of just sending one email to them. Whatever service you require, we can fetch the vendors. And the best part, let me tell you, now if anybody does ghosting, or if you are not satisfied as a buyer, your money is not paid to the vendor, it remains with us. We will refund back the money in case, and this is a managed one. That means we are not like a bank wherein you cannot contact. Here, a manager will be assigned to you. So you can call the manager and say, hey, I don't want to continue. They are not able to do my work on time. Don't pay them. I will try another vendor. Right? So they will not get anything. Right. Except, they will not get anything except the experience of whatever they did. And we will put another vendor online. So that is how this is an assurance that if you come through us, then you don't have to worry about trust, credibility, and finding the right kind of person. You don't have to pay any finder's fee. Another part is, lot of small startups, they are not having the eligibility to apply for tenders or for bigger work. If your total net worth or your turnover is just 1 crore, how can you apply for a 10 crore business? Suppose there is an application which is for 10 crores, how will you apply? They will not be able, you will not allow you to make it, right? Right. But you might think that I have the right kind of resources, team, everything. Then what is the solution? So you can utilize StartupLanes. StartupLanes will apply on your behalf. Whatever, we will become the trust organization. And that is the only reason why organizations want you to have that kind of turnover, just to ensure that you will be able to do that work. Right. So StartupLanes take that responsibility, and we tell them, don't worry, we are there in between. We will ensure that your money is released only and only if the work happens, and we will ensure if you want any earnest money, we will give you that earnest money on behalf of the client. That means the vendor. So if you don't have the earnest money to give to the other organization for the tender, don't worry, we are here. We can fund that requirement.
Got it. So traditionally, this is not a job of an accelerator, isn't it?
No, not at all.
So this is additional services that you have. So you are defining yourself much broader than a traditional accelerator.
That's right. So accelerators, they are into helping you with mentors and funding.
Got it.
Accelerators, So accelerators can help you with increasing your sales, but this is a massive level that we have thought about, and we are actually executing this because of the ecosystem. Right? No other accelerator has this kind of strength of entrepreneurs because they are very selective. We made a zero rejection model wherein anybody can join us. There's no selection process, right? So this is a freemium model. Anybody can join as long as you are an entrepreneur. You are most welcome.
But how do you get capacity? Because how many people are in your accelerator? If you say no rejection, you have to support them with manpower, with knowledge, with mentorship and stuff like that. So is it an unlimited supply of capacity you offer?
So we have started taking people, and this is the model. In fact, we take our chapter director, associate directors. Lot of the workforce come from entrepreneurs itself. They take up these roles honorarily, and they run the show on our behalf. But yes, they get some commercial benefits, and whenever they are able to help and support the ecosystem commercially. Right? So they get a small cut out of our earnings, while if they are able to successfully get business, support them in funding and all that services.
Got it. And how many startups have you helped till now in the last how many years? 6 years, 7 years?
So like I told you, this is a non-drop count. 7,700 startups are with us now, and this is going to increase. This will not fall down, right? So a few years ago, like we had 4,000, before that we have 2,000. So it's going rapidly up.
Got it. So there are startups who are trying to build their startup by themselves, and then there are startups who get help from accelerators. So my question is there quantifiable evidence that these accelerators increase the probability of success and survival for startups?
To be honest, an accelerator can just provide the support. And if you have to, I will not say there is a quantifiable evidence. There are startups which have not been to accelerator or incubator, and they are also successful. So,
yes.
Yeah. So I will not say that joining accelerator makes you successful. No, I will not say that. But joining accelerator makes you, gives you the feeling, first of all, of that you are not lonely. Entrepreneurs are very lonely people, right? Suppose you are working, having a job in a company, and you can cry, you can talk to your fellow employees, colleagues, and say, this happened. You can brag about the boss. But as an entrepreneur, you don't have anybody. If you go back to home and talk to your spouse about it, you might have bad relationship. If you talk to your parents, you might have bad relations with. They will say, what are you talking about? Why are you, bringing your office here in house? So this happens, every day. You don't have anybody to talk about. So I was telling about, we are not a guarantee of success,
right? But
we assure you that you will not be lonely. We will assure you that you will get sales lead at least from your fellow entrepreneurs, right? So that is again a biggest problem. You build a company, you build a product, you get nothing, right? Nowhere to sell. Because most of the engineers, they become entrepreneurs, they don't know how to sell. So, and they depend on only Facebook for selling, and Facebook you'll have leads but no conversion. This happens, right? So, but offline, while you are connected one-on-one, it is your friends, family who will trust you and buy your products. Even just like, daughter of the house, if she makes something, cooks something, father says, very good, right? So that's how other fellow entrepreneurs support each other, and that kind of support we build. So again, I'm not saying this is a key to success, but yes, it is far near to success.
Got it.
Joining an accelerator will give you many chances and opportunities in case you are building alone, right? So that is there. Plus, you get lot of events and lot of opportunities to raise funds and scale up. Plus, you can learn from these things are not there in books. Nobody can tell you how to face the rejection. Right? Nobody can tell you what if the investor is not picking up your calls. Nobody will tell you if the investor commits, I will give you 50 lakhs and then start boosting. How to handle that situation. So these situations, and I cannot even speak in public about these things, right? I cannot say this investor is bad, that investor is good. No. So there are some things which has to be talked or discussed offline, one-on-one in closed door communities. So we do that. You can't go to clubhouse and discuss openly. right? So you have to discuss these things, and this is what we do. We build such communities internally, and we make them meet each other, and they can discuss, right? And then they can together find out the way to success. So more of your chances of getting successful gets increased when you join an accelerator.
Got it. The probability increases. So what kind of startups? So you said 7,700 startups already. What kind of businesses usually do you support in your accelerator program? Are they all kinds of, they are technical, non-technical businesses? Could you give a sense of what kind of businesses usually are you supporting?
So we don't have any kind of segments. We are sector agnostic, and any startup. But yes, the definition of startup has to be clear. A lot of people think that startup is a new company. Any new company is a startup, because in income tax this is defined the way, but it is not the way. It has to be necessarily an organization that is there for disruption, scaling up, made on the basis of experimentation, right? And that is how startups fail, because we are experimenting. We never know whether experiment will be successful or will not be.
Right.
So startup has this experimental approach. Either you are innovating or inventing, right? And the sole purpose must be disruption. Then we define them as startups, and as per that particular definition, we take them. There is no selection criteria, but invitations, if we go out and invite anybody, we will definitely find out that at least a basic level. If somebody is just supplying security guards or repairing the air conditions, then we might not invite. But if they come and join us, they are most welcome.
Got it. So do you see that you already mentioned, so most startups are mostly engineers who are working in IT, and they have a few years of experience, and they all carry some idea, at least 3 or 4 ideas in their mind. But when they start building something, do you think the biggest pain point is distribution, getting their early customers? And is that the biggest pain point for entrepreneurs?
The biggest pain point for such entrepreneurs is that they, just like every singer thinks I'm the best singer, every person who has an idea thinks my idea is $1 billion idea. So the biggest challenge for us is to explain them that ideas have no value. Anybody can have any idea, and even if you launch your startup successfully, then also you get disrupted, right? Startup like Blockbuster got disrupted with an amazing idea, right? So it could be any reason. For them, the technology and the time was a reason. Startups or big companies like Airtel got disrupted because of Jio, right? So you never know. Alta Vista, which was the very popular search engine of its own time, got disrupted by Google. But nobody knows.
That disruption might happen later. I'm talking about early, getting early leads. Okay, getting your first, say, 50 to 100 customers. Of course, you can be disrupted after 2 years being in the industry. That's a different question altogether. But I'm talking about somebody who has just started. He has a great product, great business, but he's not able to get his first early customer. Is that the biggest pain point for a new startup?
No, actually, the pain point, according to them, I will tell you, is to raise funds. Right? Every startup they build, they think this is the only way to raise funds. Most of the founders, they are crazy about funding. So they are building their startup because of the funding, to be honest. Out of 100, I have seen 70 or 80 odd entrepreneurs only making their startup for funding purpose. I will raise fund, I will scale up, I will do whatever I want to, I will own an Audi, I will fly in an helicopter. This is what they think, right? So you will find very less number of entrepreneurs who are building it as a passion, who are building it from their own funds, thinking that even if I don't get funding, still I will be doing the same thing. Right? So the first question, in fact, anybody should ask an entrepreneur is, what if you don't get funding? If the entrepreneur says, I will be doing the same thing, even if I don't get funding, that shows passion. But unfortunately, most of them says, I will change the line. I will do something else. Then that is not passion.
Got it. So what's your opinion between bootstrapping and angel funding?
Right. So if you think your idea is good and you can execute it nicely, and you can get a very good valuation, then don't raise funding early. No startup has become big without funding. This is also true. Whether it is Microsoft, and no person has become the wealthiest person, that means the top 10 richest to talk about, out of them are from the startup side, right? Whether it is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right, Bill Gates. So these guys, they have raised funds in the past, so that we can say that without raising funds you cannot become so big.
They all so Shishir, I'm just I'm just talking about this culture of celebrityhood for entrepreneurs who are raising angel funding, and they are getting press mentions, they are in newspapers, and then they are already a celebrity when all they are doing is borrowing money. And how come borrowing money is being celebrated when they are in newspapers, they are in Your Story, and they are in TechCrunch, when they have not yet gotten any traction in the marketplace? Do you see this as a problem as well?
No, I'll tell you the technical aspect of it.
Right.
So there is a technical aspect behind this PR activity. This PR activity is done to establish the fact that I am funded now. Now, when you announce that you have raised such kind of amount of funding, there are some tracking organizations. They track you for they put you into your database, right? And they need some PR facts. They need some publishing so that they can have this validated information. You saying that I am funded does not mean, until and unless this goes into the newspaper. So let me also disclose this very less known fact, that the PR money that is paid by the founders themselves, no big media will come to you automatically and publish their article that this company is funded. Every media will charge you for this. So this is a very hard less known fact, and because you need to put yourself on track so that VCs can get your data, this activity is mandatory. So it's not more of to celebrate that I am funded, but it looks like I'm funded. I've seen startups like receiving 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh. They are also publishing. So
yes,
people might be thinking, raise 40 lakhs when you're publishing, spending 2 lakh rupees in the advertisements. So what is the fun of it? So actually, this is the reason is so that you have some hard facts, and the world should know about it, and then other investors should see it, and then they should also feel intrigued in investing.
Got it. So it's a validation for your business by existing investors, so that the future investor can see, okay, who has invested in you, and then it just creates a loop of validation. Okay, got it. Got it. Cool, excellent. Well, this was interesting. Could you give us a sense of the entrepreneurial ecosystem? So you said that you are globally in 15 countries, but is India your primary market? Like, what do you mean by, say, if I'm in Germany, so if somebody wants to start a startup in Germany, are you also offering help?
Now, in Germany, we are not there, but we are there in countries like Singapore, we are there in Indonesia. So Germany will be coming soon, but we are there in UK, we are there in England, in London, we are there in San Francisco. So anybody who wants to start a business, we have a tie-ups there. Like, suppose you want to register a company in US, our partner will register your company. It will be a flawless process, and we will, because you are going through us, you will get a discount also. So we have a lot of partners. In India also we have a lot of partners, not just for company registration and all, but for something that you require every day, like Make My Trip. You require Make My Trip for going anywhere. You need to book flights, right? They are the leading organization. So if you register through us, you will get 1,000 rupees extra. 1,000 rupees extra just for registering, right? And you can use this 1,000 rupees. For some founders, it is also a very good value add. Then, because you are registered through us, you get additional benefits like you get a preference seat. You don't have to pay for it. You get a meal free, right? So these are benefits which we have asked our partners to provide just because our entrepreneurs are registering. And one more most important part, if you need support, right? Then you don't have to call the customer care, or if you call the customer care, if they are not able to support you immediately, we have a VP level access. So you can let us know and we will inform and get you the support immediately. Suppose you are going to Thailand from India. This happened with me. My bus left and I was asking for help. Nobody was understanding my language. Then I was clueless what to do. So I called my travel operator fortunately supported. So that is what I'm trying to say. Travel operators can support, and we have a higher level access. We are partner of Clearco, which is world's largest e-commerce investor. We are exclusive partner for them in India, right? And we are partners in other countries as well. So if we can offer you funding within 20 minutes through Clearco, they are known for it. They are the world's largest, right? So going through us will give you a lot of benefits, like you will get a free valuation. You can connect your social media handles. You can connect your Google Analytics. You can connect your bank APIs, and it will give you valuation as well as it will evaluate you for funding. And if you want funding through them, they can automatically give you funding, automated term sheets, right? So these kind of benefits are there. We are partners of Bank of Mauritius. We have our own credit card, so any entrepreneur register through us get a 30,000 rupees credit, right? So that is something, this is adding value. And you just have to become a gold member, which is 12,500 rupees per year. And we give you $5,000 of Amazon AWS. There are 150 partnerships which are extended to you free of cost once you become a member.
Got it. Oh, this is amazing. This is really, it's like this kind of support system is very, very rare. So could you tell me, if there is somebody is listening to this and he has aspiration to build something in the next year or so, what are those few things he should be really preparing himself well to accelerate or to increase his probability to succeed? Given he has time, what is the advice that you would give to aspiring entrepreneur? How should he plan his money? What kind of ideas, what kind of technology, what kind of space or industry or a domain should he look into? What are some of the things that you think he should be really fully prepare himself for success?
Divide your product in different parts, which could be utilized and sold independently. Suppose if you are making a bicycle, make the pedal first and sell this pedal independently as a product in the market. Your spare parts or the parts of your product should also become a product. That is how you should build your startup, because each part of your startup should be the best and should be the most competitive in the market. That is how your final product will become most competitive. Pricing is the most important factor. No matter what, focus upon pricing. If you are able to sell the same product which is sold by the leader at a less price, this is called disruption, right? If you think that I will give you the best to the customer will reject you. And this is a known fact. If you think I will build something better, nobody will trust you. Right? Suppose, I'll give you an example. Suppose you are a not so known person and you come up with vaccine which is better than the Moderna vaccine or the AstraZeneca vaccine, right? Will anybody believe you? Nobody will believe you, no matter your product is good. And this exactly, I'm not naming that organization. They were my clients. They were DRDO scientists. They built one vaccine which is just one shot, five heinous diseases gone, right? But private investors were not very happy to fund them because trust, this reputation.
Could you give a simple example for a normal entrepreneur who is not building vaccine, but maybe he has a...
I got broken in between. So I was telling you, Bitcoin is not the most expensive currency. Your reputation is the most expensive currency. So focus upon building your reputation. If you have the habit of not paying back, then don't expect the investors to invest in you. Right? If you have taken loan from your friends just 500 rupees and you have not paid back, don't expect your friends and family members to invest, or any investor should invest, because your attitude goes the long way, your habits goes the long way. So work on your habits first. If you have the habit of returning back, and if you keep it on priority, that I will return this money first, this is my liability, and this is my responsibility, then that kind of attitude and habits show. Investors are smart race. They understand, they have the experience, right? Don't think that you are more smarter.
Right.
They are also smart. They can identify. While you are speaking, they can find out what are you going to do with their money.
Right.
So build your reputation, break down the parts, and I can speak for hours on this topic, in fact, because it's not something which could be covered in short span of time. But I'm telling you the most important parts, as well as validate your idea.
Right.
Do not go behind making something unique.
Right.
Go behind, if you want money, make something which is successful, which is there in the West, not in the East. Copy that, no problem. Right? And because until and unless you have money, even if you have something very good, nobody is going to take it. So first of all, you need to establish yourself, and you will be able to establish yourself only when you are selling something which is already there in the market. You just have to lower the prices.
Got it. How about getting a co-founder? Say, for example, there is a single entrepreneur and he wants to build a tech product, but he has the idea, but he does not have a technical co-founder. Do you also help him match with finding a technical co-founder?
That's right. We do that. We have a lot of people in the community, so we can find out a co-founder.
Got it. Excellent. So I'm being mindful of the time because I spent a lot of time on the entrepreneur side. I also wanted to quickly, will not spend a lot of time, but on the angel investing side of the business that you have, right? So could you tell us a bit about the side of angel investing and how is your organization helping with angel investors?
So we have created a beautiful model wherein we call it exclusive demo day. Exclusive demo day is a modified version of the demo day that you see in the West and Singapore or
Y Combinator's
kind of,
has demo.
Yeah. Yes. So we have this exclusive demo day model wherein for the founder this entire event is created just for one founder. So not many founders participate, and this helps in founder getting confidence besides money, because when you see 50 or 100 odd investors coming only for you, your confidence goes very high, right? But if you see that there are other 50 other startups pitching to the same founders, then your confidence goes low. So actually it hampers us because it is very difficult to do such kind of exclusive events, but we are doing that. And trust me, for the founders this is the best, because you cannot get such kind of confidence, attention in a common demo day. So we do exclusive demo days regularly. We invite investors, we prepare research reports and some promotional videos, show to the investors, let the investor research about the startup and then come prepared. And whenever they come only for that particular startup.
What kind of investors are you talking about? You're talking about VCs or you're talking about angel investors?
We are talking about angel investors. VCs do not take immediate decisions. So such kind of demo days are not helpful from raising funds from VCs.
So what is the profile of an angel investor, if I may ask? What does an angel investor mean?
An angel investor is an HNI, high net worth individual, who has surplus amount of money. Government of India has defined it as somebody who has more than 25 lakh of earnings as per the last 3 income tax returns. This should be the average, and 2 crore rupees of assets should be there in the individual name.
Got it. So what's the difference between angel funding and Series A funding? How do you differentiate? Because there are so many. There are pre-seed, there is seed, and then when does Series A start? Could you define this difference, please?
The first round of funding is called 3F round: friends, family, and fools.
Fools.
So, fools. They are called fools because they take blind risk upon you, despite of the fact they understand that you might fail.
Okay.
So, like, friends and family is okay; they will give you money. But somebody who is not your friend and family but still gives you money, then he or she is considered to be a fool.
Nice.
And because of those fools, lot of big companies, good companies have been made. Right? So this is the first round, and if you don't raise fund, you are called bootstrap. First round 3F, it is angel round wherein you raise from individuals. They invest from their own pocket.
Yeah,
they are not
at what
investing
stage?
the public money.
At what stage of the business? When you run out of money from your 3Fs, is that when it is?
No, you should not run out of the money while raising funds. You should still have the money. This is called runway. You should have a runway of at least 2 to 3 months while you raise the next round of funding. And it is most important for you to raise the next round of funding to scale up. See, businesses should not depend upon funding for running. Business should depend upon funding for scaling up. Even if you don't get the funding, your business should be so robust that it should not stop and shut shop. Right? So your business investors should also know that. Whenever investors get to know that your business is dependent upon funding, it will shut down, then they will not invest. Right?
That means nobody wants to. The revenues should manage the operational cost of your business.
Definitely. So you should have some kind of revenue. If you don't scale up, then you should be stable, but you should not fall down. Right? So then this is called angel round. Angel round could be of multiple stages. You can have first, second, third. All these are pre-A series round or pre-seed rounds. Right? These are not seed round. Seed round is the first round from a venture capitalist, from an institution. Right? And this is the public money. This money is coming from the annuity fund of the country. Right? So a lot of big funds, like PPF, insurance, these funds get into, and some family offices like big families, they invest. And that big ticket money is generally, there are two types of micro VC and the normal one, the bigger ones. So micro VCs have a ticket size of $1 to $3 million, and other ones have more than that. But VC will not invest anything lesser than $500,000.
Right. So how do you differentiate between angel investing and seed round investing? Is this based on the volume of money that you raise?
It is based upon the stage of your startup. In case your startup is very, very early, this VC will not come in, especially in India. In US, we have such VCs, they may come up at an idea stage also. But in India, generally VCs won't come up because they want to stay protected. They want to come up at a stage wherein they feel that their money will not be lost because it is a public money. Right? But angel investors can take high risk and they can also get higher returns. So ROI of a VC could range between 50 to 20x, 15 to 20. But for angel investor, it could be anywhere between 11 times to 100 times. It could be zero also, right? But the typical, anybody who invests in more than 6 startups has never lost capital. This is an international research. Anybody who has invested into more than 5 startups has never lost capital. Anybody who has invested into more than 15 startups has made an average ROI of 11 times.
Wow, nice. So when does an angel investor exit? Is it when the company gets seed funding from a VC? That's when the angel exits, or can the angel stay along the course of the startup's growth?
There are a lot of opportunities of exit, but yes, the most common one is discounting. While a VC is coming up, VC will invest at say valuation X. The angel investor will offer X minus some discount, 15% or 20%, and VC will take their equity also.
Got it. Nice. So you tell us, how are you providing a platform for angel investors? So you talked about demo days. So do you have a pool of angel investors and then you invite them, send them applications or invitations to this demo day? How does this work out?
So there are 2 pools. First is, a primary pool wherein investors come unprepared. We train them, we tell them, help them in learning. We, inform them about the process, how to scan a company, how to do valuations, why angel investment and all that. Once the primary knowledge is completed, they can move into the pool, which is a matured pool. From the matured pool, they are invited directly to the opportunities which are primary. Secondary opportunities everybody gets. So in the primary pool, only members, we charge them a membership fee. Only members get inside, right? So it is also a freemium model. So just like our founders model is freemium, here also we have a freemium model. So the matured pool has only members which are paid members who are who have a better commitment and serious approach towards investment.
Got it. Excellent. And then do they also have a choice on where they want to invest, or it is a diversified portfolio that you offer, or how is it?
No, they always have a choice. We invite all the investors. The demo days keep on happening every week, right? So investors can find out after the demo day is over. They can tell us if they are interested or not. There is no pressure upon any kind of investor to invest. Whether if they want, they can invest. If they don't want, they can participate in the next demo.
But you would advise them to diversify, isn't it? Because you said that on an average, more than 5 investments in startups, you will not lose money. Is that how it is?
I lost you the last word. I would advise them.
So you would recommend them to diversify into multiple startups, because that's how you make money, isn't it?
It does not. See, if you have 50 lakhs, if you invest in one startup or if you invest in 10 startup, the money that is, or the success fee anybody receives is same, right? So we do not advise them to diversify because of our cut or something, but we advise them to diversify because this way they can mitigate the risk. This way they can save themselves. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you have more risk, right? So if you diversify into 5, 6, 7, 8 startups, then even if your one investment becomes successful, then you can get out the entire ROI.
Got it. So Shishir, thank you for sharing a wealth of knowledge. Okay, you seem to know so much about this industry. Just tell me the secret behind this man who started this small. You started this recruitment agency, but building this massive business of what you have built today with StartupLanes. What did it take? I mean, so you build your own small business, but how did you build this network? How did you build this big vision, grand vision of something building across the globe? How did it happen? So where did that come from, and how long did it take? Because that is very, very insightful for me to learn. So how did you grow into becoming what you have become today?
See, to be honest, poverty is my biggest motivation. I don't want to become poor again, and I don't want anybody in this country to be poor. In fact, I don't want anybody in the world to be poor, right? Everybody deserves a basic level of life, basic standard of life, and that became my motivation because I faced a lot of difficulty in life. So I have touched life from those angles where not normal man, somebody who is middle and upper middle class and upper class don't know. So I always go back, think about myself, think about the people whom I have been in touch with or I have seen and noticed, what kind of difficult time they have faced. So that became my motivation.
Yeah, that is your motivation. But how did you succeed? I mean, where did you get where did that hunger come to succeed? Because not everybody is able to succeed to build such an international organization with such a big, massive network. What is the secret to yours? Is there a hunger that never stops? Where does it come from?
To be honest, this is my passion. This is what I wanted to do. So this is something, if you're whatever you are doing, business or job, you don't have passion. If you wanted to do something else, you may not be happy. But in my sleep, when I wake up, while I'm talking, I don't have to watch time, how much time has spent, because I'm enjoying every moment. Whatever I'm doing, I enjoy this. Right? This is something I always wanted to do. So I feel accomplished. I feel that I am doing what I wanted, and what more can give me happiness. So this keeps me on and on. The more I fall, and this is true, I have fallen many times. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
And the more I fall, more I feel motivated. Right? I come back, bounce back, and I never change my stream. Right? So this is a very big problem I've seen with people. They say, I will do something else. I never do that something else. People, I'll tell you, while I was building this StartupLanes, I invited 16 people, 16, to become my co-founders. Right. All good people, some CEOs of big organization. One person was from a news channel. He was CEO of a very known news channel. Right. And this guy asked me, Shishir, what is plan B? What if this does not work? I will leave job from so-and-so news channel. I will join you. But what if it does not work? And others started, following him. All 16. And I said, no, I don't have any plan B. I will keep on doing the same thing. Even if I fail, I come back. Again, I'll fail, I'll again come back. There is no plan B. And they felt this is not a satisfactory answer. I started on my own. None of them joined me. Now they call me. Shishir, why don't I invest in your startup? Or is there any role for me? This is okay. This is what happens because I took the risk. I believed in myself and my idea. I was knowing what I will be doing. So this is actually what happens with everybody. Initially, you will see that nothing is working. You will find that, everywhere you go, you are finding the darkness. But later, slowly and gradually, you will see, that it's bright there. And you just have to passionately walk towards, either walk or run. Destination should not change.
Shishir, do you come up with aggressive annual goals for your business, or how does it? Are you a goals person? Do you set goals?
No, I don't, because not achieving such goals gives dissatisfaction, and if you don't get, why do you become unhappy when you are not happy, and why don't you get happy? Because you don't get something, right? So I am not setting up such kind of targets wherein I'm fighting to get something, and when I don't get something. So COVID did not hamper me because I was cool, right? I changed some modified things. Instead of physical events, we came up to online events, and things worked. I was not into stress. I was not into any kind of issues.
But without goals, how will you grow? I mean, if there are no milestones, how do you? I'm sure you have grown this big with some milestones, isn't it?
Yeah, I got your point. You said without goals. Can you repeat that? Without goals?
Yeah, without goals, how can somebody grow international organization like this?
End goal is obviously, that is defined. End goal, see, instead of having a financial goal, I have the goal of generating jobs, but I have not given it a number, right? So it could be the goal changes, the goal modifies. My only goal is to generate jobs, and that is what I am doing. So I feel happy and accomplished when I am able to do so. Financial goals are not there, to be very honest. Yes, we also want to scale up. In 3 years, you will see our IPO coming up. So all those things are there, but we don't set such goals. Why to? Let it go very normally, because we are already doing good, to be honest. There are a lot of investors approaching us to invest into StartupLanes. There are a lot of people coming who want to collaborate, big people, big family offices, right? Known family offices. But I'm cool. I don't want to get very aggressive targets. I don't want to be driven by some commercials. Right. I'm happy to do Seva, and this model, because of everybody's blessing, we are scaling up at a fast pace. We became the fastest growing tech company, ranked 119 in 2019, right? And then became 113 by Growjo. I'm talking about the world. So while we are already getting into the fastest growing, then we don't have to set up such kind of steep goals.
Excellent. Well, this brings us to the end of a fascinating conversation with Shishir. I could actually go on, and we have already gone 20 minutes past the time. But the conversation was so enriching. In fact, Shishir, when you are going off for half a minute or so, I was just telling the audience how how much I enjoyed this conversation, which was very different from all the other entrepreneurs that I meet, because you shared some very rich nuggets of wisdom which others don't talk. Other people talk very superficially, but I think you are very open. You talked about some of the things that are below the radar and people do not know, especially the cost and price of how entrepreneurs think. So thank you for sharing that. See you around. Bye bye.
Bye bye.